I have discovered a secret to make swatching a lot of fun. Yes, it's true. Hello, my name is Dawn Schaefer, and I am the owner of LazierSheepRanch.com, and this is your place for farming, yarn, and fun. Yes, you heard it right. I discovered a way to make it a lot of fun, and I want to share this with you. See, the sheer whisper of knitting up a swatch just was like scraping your fingernails down a chalkboard to me. Swatches were an obstacle. When I chose my yarn and pattern, I just wanted to start immediately. I was not in the mood to create a swatch. It just was, just something that got in my way. But, you know, I was getting tired of frogging everything because nothing fit right. And yes, I would frog and frog and frog. And no thank you. That was the past. And now getting things right the first time is hopefully in my future. So if you're wondering, what is a swatch? A swatch is normally a 4x4 inch piece, knitted piece, that you would count the stitches in rows in within the 4 inches to get an average of what's going on. Now, if your swatch is off, then your pattern measurement's going to be way off. So it would be wise to work with it until you get the correct gauge going, so you get the correct size project that you have. I have 4 tips for you that will help make this swatching not a swear word, but a love word. Would it be a love word? I'm not quite sure. But I have 4 tips for you that's going to make it a lot more fun than just saying it's an obstacle, it's getting in my way, and I don't want to do it. So I call this the data collecting portion of it. So the first tip is washing and blocking your swatch. What you would do, you would measure before you wash and you would measure after you block. This will help show you how the yarn actually behaves and how much it stretches out. And you can see, you know, is there going to be a lot of play with the yarn down the road just due to it being kind of a softer, stretchier yarn. The second tip I have for you is that you want to test drive your yarn. And this is where you would pin the garment, pin your swatch inside a garment or put it in a purse and see the stress of everything. How does your yarn swatch behave under stress? This will let you know whether this is a good match for the project that you're making. Third tip that I have for you to measure your swatch, measure it with a ruler, not a flexible tape for me. So you make sure you measure with a ruler and also measure in various places. So when I think of various places, I only think of 2. One flat on the table, hang it up on a wall to see how much it does stretch. So there are the 3 where you really would collect the data, and if you do a journal, then you can document how this yarn behaves, and it will help set you up for future references to that specific yarn. And maybe you don't even like the yarn and you say, I'm not going back to that yarn, and it will help you decipher whether or not you want to keep working with it. The 4th thing I have, this is the most fun portion that I think swatching is. Do you remember The Tale of Two Cities? I read that back in high school, and it's really not a story I remember. I slept a lot through it, but I do remember Madame Defarge. And what she would do was encode secret messages in her knitting. And I'm just so fascinated by that. So that is what you can do with your swatches. You can encode needle sizes in it. And if you have any other thing that you want to put within the swatch itself, you can use various codes so only you will understand what's going on. So this is what I mean. You would create eyelets in your swatch. An eyelet is a yarn over and the next is knit two together. I'm going to show you how to make these cute eyelets here. Whether you use them for texture in a shawl, sweater, or sock, or even as coding a needle size into a swatch. I did, you can see it when I lay it out like this, was create more of a texture. It looks like a simple flower. So that's what the texture looks like when you play around with these eyelets. It's made up of a yarn over and knit two together. So you would yarn over and then knit two together. These two are just a little tight. That normally happens, but you have a yarn over. Then I can do another one right here for you. You would yarn over, put your needle here, and then knit these two together. So even though it looks like you're adding a stitch, you're really not, because you're adding one here, but you're taking one away here. So the second row that I have, we will just purl right across. And that creates your eyelet. So the eyelet technique that I'm doing is a yarn over and knit two together. So the first one I have to show you as an example is the needle size 8. And so I have created with this swatch 8 eyelets that go right across. So this will let me know that I am to use needle size 8. So what do you say if you do metric? This is for a needle size 2.25, and I did this upside down, but here I have 2, the gap would be 0.25. So this area would be the whole number, this area would be the 0.25 over here. And now, what if you have like a 10.5 size needle? You would do 10 eyelets across, and then you would purl the next row, and then the next row you would knit, and you would put a bauble. That bauble means that it's a half a size. I think that is absolutely fascinating. I enjoy collecting data and also putting secret codes in my swatches. It has helped me out tremendously. What do you think about swatches? Are you a swatcher or are you an anti-swatcher? So thank you so much for coming to the end of this video. One thing that does happen is that if you wait a couple months to start working on that pattern that you've created that beautiful swatch for, your tension might change. And so it is sometimes tricky to pick up that project again and start going immediately. But just be aware of the tension. Now, when you are stressed or it's hot out, your tension is going to be a little bit tighter. If you're relaxed and it's cooler out, it might be a little bit more relaxed. So just take note of the tension that you have when you do start tackling that project that you made that perfect swatch for. So you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for spending the time with me, and I will see you in the next video.